While everyone's talking about Hailey Bieber's drama, she just pulled off one of the smartest business moves in the beauty history. Hailey didn't sell Rhode to Elle for 1 billion because she needed quick money. She saw a major shift coming in the beauty industry that most brand founders are completely missing. What she figured out about timing, consumer behavior, and when to make your exit will change how we think about building celebrity brands. Here is what we are diving into. First, the numbers that reveal why this timing was everything. Then, the patterns most founders completely miss when building their brands. We'll explore what it takes to scale viral brands globally, break down Elf's game plan, and dissect what this means for the future of celebrity beauty. Welcome to Beauty and the Brief. I'm Anushka and I break down the business moves behind beauty and fashion's biggest wins and failures. If you have ever wondered how a simple lip balm becomes a cultural moment and why certain brands build cult followings while others fade into irrelevance, you are in the right place. Let's start with the numbers that make this decision so fascinating. Rhode wasn't just successful, it was performing at levels that most beauty brands dream of achieving in their entire lifetime. In less than 3 years, Rhode hit 212 million in annual sales. But here is what makes that number insane. They did it with only 10 products. No physical retail, no target shelves, no ultra displays, pure online sales. To put this in perspective, that's roughly 21 million per product. Most beauty brands launch 30, 40, sometimes 50 different items and still struggle to hit 50 million in sales. The peptide glazing fluid alone became a cultural phenomenon. Glazed donut skin moment became a cross-platform sensation, had people recreating looks on TikTok, and created this aesthetic that leaked into nail art, makeup trends, and even smoothie recipes. Rhode was the #1 skincare brand in earned media value in 2024. Instead of paying for ads, people were creating content about Rhode organically. While brands like Clinique or Neutrogena might spend 10 million on traditional advertising campaigns, Rhode generated equivalent visibility through authentic user content. When someone posts a genuine before and after using Rhode products, that's often more convincing than any paid advertisement. So, when a brand is performing at this level, with this momentum, with wait lists for every product drop, the obvious question becomes, why would you ever consider walking away from this success? Here is what most people miss about beauty brand life cycles, and this is critical for understanding Hailey's thinking. Celebrity beauty brands follow predictable patterns that smart founders learn to recognize. Year 1 is launch euphoria. Everything feels possible, metrics trend upward, the novelty factor drives massive attention. Year 2 represents peak cultural relevance, maximum buzz, maximum influence, maximum leverage in the market. But year 3, that's where things get interesting. The data shows this is typically where celebrity beauty brands hit what I call the plateau effect. Consumer attention fragments, new launches saturate the market, and staying relevant requires increasingly expensive marketing. Look at the numbers. In 2020, we saw 10 new celebrity beauty brand launches. 2021 brought 15 more. 2022 saw 18 launches. The market was becoming saturated with star-driven brands, each fighting for the same Gen Z attention span. By 2025, when Hailey made her exit decision, this saturation was a real problem. Beauty buyers discover brands through social media, but there is only so much attention to go around. Rhode was winning that attention battle, but Hailey recognized that staying ahead would require massive investments. Here is the insight that separates smart founders from emotional ones. Peak momentum isn't your hold forever moment. It's your best time to sell. When you're trending upward, when your brand is hot, when bigger companies are active actively hunting for successful brands, that's when you get your best deal. The beauty industry saw over 290 acquisition deals in 2024, up 15% from the previous year. Bigger companies were buying smaller, successful ones, and Hailey recognized this trend early. But here is where the real business thinking shows up. Scaling a viral online brand globally isn't just about doing more what's already working. It requires completely rebuilding how your business operates. Rhode's setup was built for a small product line selling online. Moving into physical retail means larger factory contracts, predicting how much product you will need months in advance, new shipping partners, and following different regulations in every market you enter. Think about it. Rhode announced the Sephora partnership for late 2025. That's not just putting products on shelves, that means meeting Sephora's vendor requirements, their supply chain timelines, their inventory system. It means having enough product to fill stores across multiple countries without running out and damaging retail relationships. e.l.f. operates in over 100 countries. Each market has different cosmetic regulations, ingredient safety requirements, labeling standards, testing protocols. The EU has different rules than Asia, and markets like China have their own compliance frameworks. Rhode, as a young startup, would have had to build this regulatory expertise from scratch. That means hiring specialists, conducting stability tests, creating safety documents for every ingredient in every product for every market. We are talking millions in upfront costs before you sell a single unit internationally. Product development is another bottleneck. Rhode's success was built on a few hero products, but sustaining growth means continuous innovation. New formulations, testing, supply chain for new ingredients. The peptides that made Rhode famous aren't basic ingredients that you can source from anywhere. Scaling product development requires serious investment. By the way, if you're enjoying that breakdown, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps a small creator like me to grow and make more content like this. Independent scaling for Rhode would have meant heavy upfront investment with no guarantee that the growth rate would continue. Hailey was essentially looking at spending tens of millions to maybe achieve what e.l.f. could provide immediately through their existing infrastructure. This is where the e.l.f. partnership becomes brilliant business thinking rather than just a financial exit. e.l.f. just didn't write a check of $1 billion. The transaction breaks down as $800 million at closing, $600 million in cash plus $200 million in e.l.f. stock, with an additional $200 million performance-based earnout over 3 years. That's 3.8x of revenue multiple for Rhode. Compare this to Kylie Cosmetics at 6.8 revenue when Coty paid $600 million for 51% stake. But here's the strategic genius. e.l.f. structured this as a complete acquisition rather than a partnership stake. With Coty bought into Kylie Cosmetics, they got 51% control but inherited integration challenges and brand dependency risks. e.l.f. gets 100% operational control while keeping Hailey as Chief Creative Officer. This is maximum strategic flexibility with preserved authenticity. The earnout mechanism aligns incentives perfectly. If Rhode hits aggressive growth targets, Hailey earns the full $200 million bonus. If performance disappoints, e.l.f. limits downside risk. Industry data shows earnout structures reduce acquisition costs by 15 to 20% while maintaining founder motivation, exactly what we see here. e.l.f. borrowed $600 million to fund this deal during a time when borrowing costs are expensive. But here's the thing, analysts still expect this acquisition to boost e.l.f.'s profits by 15% in 2026 and 29% in 2027. That's actually impressive because most beauty acquisitions take 12 to 18 months just to break even. Rhode's exit reveals a fundamental shift from ego-driven brand building to strategic value creation. Smart celebrity founders now follow a 3-phase playbook: launch authentically, scale through partnerships, and optimize exit timing. The pattern is clear. Fenty hit 570 million in 15 months before Louis Vuitton partnership. Rare Beauty crossed 400 million before exploring exits. Rhode reached 212 million in under 3 years before this ELF deal. Each proved market viability before seeking operational scaling. What separates winners from failures? Performance beyond revenue. Rhode achieved number 1 skincare position in earned media value with 367% year-over-year growth. That's $47 million in equivalent advertising value generated organically, while traditional beauty brands are spending 15 to 25 per customer acquisition. Timing is everything. Beauty deals surged 32% in 2024, with private equity buyers driving 40% of acquisitions. Hailey recognized this was a seller's market and moved quickly instead of risking a downturn. Social media performance now determines acquisition value. Rhode ranks 6th among beauty brands on TikTok with 427 million hashtag views and 232% search growth. These numbers prove authentic engagement, which directly translates to cheaper customer acquisition and higher brand value. So, the real reason Hailey sold Rhode at its peak, she recognized that peak momentum represents peak leverage, not maximum holding opportunity. She understood that sustainable global beauty leadership requires infrastructure beyond individual celebrity influence. What's your take on this move? Genius timing or leaving money on the table?